Hi, I'm Taryn Grom, editor of PharmaVOICE magazine, on the floor of the 2010 DIA annual meeting, and I'm here with Peter Benton of BioClinica's.
Peter, what are some best practices in terms of analyzing the clinical supply chain before and during a clinical trial?
Sure, Taryn. A couple things we like to think about is one, optimizing and simulating as early as possible. A couple different reasons for why we do that. Number one, you really want to establish kind of a baseline for any simulations, options, scenarios that you're going to run against that trial. So you've got to do at least initial base case to kind of compare things against. Two, as part of that, you've also got to make sure that you understand what the base cost, what you're comparing it against for is. And three, it's just good best practice to simulate as early as possible before things start to happen in a clinical trial. So that's one of the first pieces. Another best practice is really looking at all of the buffers, the site buffers, depot buffers, and understanding what the different options are in doing those simulations. Another thing you need to think about in doing simulation is not trying to do every scenario under the sun. You've really got to kind of bracket the uncertainty, so you need to do some kind of bounding of the different conditions, but you really want to look at like a high, low, medium scenario. You don't want to try and do 100 different permutations of potential options that could occur. It's just waste your time and effort, and you'll still get to a pretty good answer. And probably one of the last things you really need to think about is pulling the actuals. It's not just the beginning of a trial. You really got to do that initial simulation, do the optimization, understand all the different things that could possibly go wrong, go right, make the decisions you need to, think through different strategies around depots and the selection of those depots. But then you've got to keep doing it. You've got to pull the actuals back. Our best practice is pulling actuals out of IVR, EDC on a weekly basis, pulling that back in, rerunning the simulation, because the trial literally will adjust and change as you go forward. It's completely unpredictable at the beginning. Once you've got all the sites and patients enrolled, you know what already happened, but a lot of things can change along the way. So really, doing that integrated kind of 360 optimization throughout the life of the trial is very important.
Excellent. Peter, why don't you talk to us a little bit about some ways that sponsors can trim costs through the examination of overages, supply parameters, and enrollment?
The number one is avoiding big issues like no drug product at sites that don't have patients, drug product at depots that never ship those. But again, the big one is not having drug product available for a site. One of the largest opportunities. The next one is really minimizing waste and really understanding all of the shipping costs, the transportation costs, the drug production costs associated with the trial. So trying to minimize waste, as long as you never have a catastrophic failure or opportunity in your trial. So minimizing those wastes is a big opportunity, and we see from 6-figure to 7-figure savings in using simulation and optimization. Everyone knows that 10 to 20% of the trials never enroll a patient. The problem is no one knows which sites those are going to be. So really getting some good understanding of what could possibly happen in the trial, and then taking the actuals and managing that throughout the life of the trial is very, very important. Another big area is the expiry. So drug product does expire, and really understanding what the expiration profile looks like, what's going to happen when, is a very important thing that you can simulate and optimize, and again with the 360 pulling actuals back in, understand more effectively.
Excellent, thank you so much.